Hi, it's Dean here from Showreel Mastery, and I thought I'd just put down this really quick video to address some of the questions that have been coming through from the community around what are some of the useful techniques, ideas that can assist you as an actor in preparing for a scene, but also can assist you as a director in terms of how you direct the performers within the scene. Now, one of the things that we talk a lot about inside of the course is the idea of given circumstances. Now, within any script, there's a set of circumstances that precede the action that unfolds in the script. And of course, these circumstances have a great role to play in terms of the mindset of the actors, in terms of how they behave during the scene. And in fact, given circumstances in the filmmaking process can affect a whole range of different things. Everything from art department choices, makeup choices, costume choices. All of these filmmaking elements need to be created with reference to given circumstances, what has happened previously. So when we are preparing our character as an actor, one of the first things we ask is, what are the circumstances of the character? And the more detail that you can go into in your own imaginative process, often the more specificity you can create in your performance. And of course, building on the given circumstances is the idea of looking at what has happened the moment before. Okay, so if we think of given circumstances as the culmination of all of the things that precede the scene, we can then drill down into specifically what has happened right before the first words are uttered by the characters in the scene. And of course, one of the ways that we can change direction when we're directing performers is to adjust the moment before. Okay, so we can build in a fictional happening, which we can, of course, offer to our actors to precede the scene that will, of course, change the way the actors behave and perform in the scene. So, for example, if we said, okay, let's do the scene again, let's play it as if you've just had a phone call and you've just got some terrible news on the phone about something, then it's obviously going to have an impact on performance. So thinking about the moment before can be a very good part of the process. Another tool which, of course, actors will often look at when preparing performance is this idea of an inner monologue. Now, the inner monologue is, of course, the voice that's kind of inside our head that guides us. And as people, sometimes we're very conscious of what our inner monologue is, and other times we're less conscious. Of course, it depends on the circumstances, it depends on the person. But constructing an inner monologue for the character, what is that voice inside the character's head saying? What is it propelling the character to do? Can be a really nice way to build detail into a performance and of course make it more interesting. Sometimes it's a tool that I might use as a director if an actor is maybe struggling in a scene and is maybe not quite playing a moment with the right intention or is confused about a moment. We might say, okay, what do you think the character's inner monologue is saying at this point? And of course then an inner monologue almost becomes an unseen character in a scene, because of course actors can react to the inner monologue, either in sympathy with the inner monologue or against the inner monologue. Something that we do go into a lot of detail about in the course is, of course, identifying the goal of each actor in a scene. Of course, we always go through life wanting to achieve something, and that can be a very momentary something like, I want to get some more water for my drinking glass right there, right through to, I want to succeed in my career, which is a much longer goal. I like to look at goals in terms of the overall picture of a character, but then really drill down what is the goal within the scene, but then let's break the scene into smaller parts and look at what the goal is of these smaller parts, which in the course, of course, we refer to as beats. Identifying the goal is a really important part of preparation. And of course, if a scene is not quite working, it's often because a performer is not going after their goal hard enough. And finding a way to really push the actor into going harder to achieve the goal is a great way to add more intensity to a scene, if that's what you want to do. I think something else that's really important when we're either directing other actors or performing ourselves in a scene is to have an awareness of the space. Now, of course, when we're making films, sometimes we're in a studio, sometimes we're in a location, but of course, film crews will go to extra effort to make the set as comfortable as possible so that it's obviously a safe and pleasant place to work. But of course, often we're creating cinematic worlds which are anything but comfortable. Worlds that are too cold, worlds that are too hot, worlds that just have a dank, crummy smell about them. I think asking yourself some questions about the world in which your scene is set is a really, really good way just to kind of position yourself psychologically as a character within the space. And of course, something else that we look at in the course is the idea of listening to other actors and really listening and hearing the dialogue that you are getting fed to you in the scene as if for the first time, and listening to the detail of what is said to you and reacting. So much of acting, of course, is actually reacting, and that's why it's really important in a showreel setting, for example, to make sure that you have a strong scene partner, that you're filming a two-hander scene, because often the most interesting performance choices are those which play when we're not speaking, but we are actually listening. And so I think that's just a nice little reminder to always go into a scene with ears wide open, more focused on listening even maybe than speaking. And of course, as a director, if you're trying to troubleshoot and problem solve a scene that might not be coming together, very often it is about actors not listening to each other. And I think it's worth looking at if that is happening in your scene and finding ways to make the actors listen. And of course, there are some really great exercises that we can do with actors to really hone in on their listening skills and make sure that they are very responsive to one another so that we get a nice dynamic and a sense of connectedness in the scene. Great, so these are a few small tips. We go into this, of course, in much greater detail in Showreel Mastery. If you are an actor and you're interested in gaining real filmmaking skills and also using tools that you probably already own to create a professional showreel, then maybe Showreel Mastery is a good fit for you. We've got over 65 lessons of studio quality content. We also offer group coaching, and of course we have a community space where all the students can discuss their work, connect with one another, and of course progress together on a journey towards developing real filmmaking skills.